listening to the WrestleHavoc podcast on YouTube, where we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. We talk all that goes on in the realm of WWE and AEW every week. And now, here's your host, the one that will give you a reality check on pro wrestling, Flamin' Ricky DeReyes. This is the WrestleHavoc podcast.
What's up, everybody? It is Flamin' Ricky DeReyes, right here on Episode 4 of the WrestleHavoc podcast. We are going to be talking a lot right here on the show. Is The Rock going to be wrestling at this year's WrestleMania as we all thought, or have plans changed? We got a preview for this coming Monday's Raw Is XXX celebration. It's going to be a very, very big show. We are going to run down the Royal Rumble card so far and an update on CM Punk's status with All Elite Wrestling. So we got a lot of things to talk about right here on Episode 4 of the WrestleHavoc podcast. Before I get on with all this craziness, make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content. And as the frickin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the WrestleHavoc podcast is also available on audio platforms. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the WrestleHavoc podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. But before we get on with everything, I'm going to run down the weekly schedule for this podcast. Every Monday, there will be pay-per-view reviews if necessary. Usually, the pay-per-view schedule is now kind of weird nowadays, considering we now get Saturday pay-per-views. Of course, Tuesday will be the Raw review. Wednesdays, there will be no videos. Thursday, there will be the AEW Dynamite review. Friday, no videos, but Saturday, we got the SmackDown review, and of course, every Sunday will be the WrestleHavoc podcast, which is, of course, this main show that you guys are watching now. Now, next week is going to be a little different because of the fact that we have the Royal Rumble next Saturday. I'm not sure when I'm going to be giving you guys my review on that. My best guess is going to be on the Sunday, so my current plan right now is that I'm going to be giving you guys Episode 5 of the podcast probably on the Friday before the Royal Rumble, so it kind of saves me some time and headache. But most likely, you guys will be getting Episode 5 a little earlier than usual. So Episode 5 of the podcast will be uploaded on Friday. Of course, Saturday will be the SmackDown review, and Sunday we will give you guys the Royal Rumble 2023 review. So, as I stated before, we got a lot of things to cover right here on the podcast.
You're listening to the WrestleHavoc.
Talk about. And my apologies, I literally did not turn that off. But yeah, man, we got a lot of things to talk about right here on the show. We got an update on The Rock's status for WrestleMania 39, and it's looking like he's probably not going to wrestle at WrestleMania 39. Johnson is considered less likely for WrestleMania than he was a few months ago. So, in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, now I'm getting this from F4W Online, of course. Those are the people that run the Wrestling Observer, that being Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez. In the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer provided an update on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's status for WrestleMania 39. Meltzer wrote that unless Johnson changes his mind in the next few days, Johnson has indicated that he won't have time to get into the kind of shape that he feels he needs to be in for a main event match against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. Meltzer noted that Johnson has kept the door open for something in the future, and they put a quote by Dave Meltzer, and I quote, "Of course, it is a possibility that it's something being kept a secret from everyone," Meltzer added. The report also states that while Meltzer does not know that Johnson has officially turned down wrestling at WrestleMania 39, the indication is that it's considered less likely than a few months ago. The WrestleMania 39 card, I should say, will begin to take place at this year's Royal Rumble that's held on Saturday, January 28th, which is actually next Saturday. And WrestleMania 39 will be taking place at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California, at SoFi Stadium Saturday, April 1st, and Sunday, April 2nd. Aside from a 6-second match with Eric Rowan at WrestleMania 32, Johnson hasn't wrestled since losing to John Cena in the main event of WrestleMania 29 in 2013. Johnson also appeared on CNBC this week and was asked about the possibility of WWE being sold. He wished Vince McMahon and WWE all the best during the process. So, this is a very, very, very interesting thing to talk about. Now, we've all known that WWE has wanted to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania ever since last year. Heck, even 2 years ago, they've wanted this match. That 2 years ago was really where the rumblings of the match were really starting, and we all knew it really had to take place in Hollywood, which is of course this year's WrestleMania venue. You know for a fact it wasn't going to happen in Dallas. If there is a venue that makes total sense to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns, it's in California, in Hollywood, at SoFi Stadium. It makes total sense, considering the fact that The Rock is a Hollywood megastar at this point. But this is very interesting. What do I personally believe about this story? Do I think that The Rock is quote-unquote less likely? My guess is no. The reason why I say that is, now, this is just pure speculation on my end. Don't quote me on this. This is just what I believe. But if you really think about it, WWE recently released a new Rock merchandise on WWE Shop. Now, I believe it was reported that particular merchandise was for, of course, Raw 30, which takes place tomorrow. But I honestly do not think that it's for the Raw 30th anniversary. I genuinely believe that is for WrestleMania. And also, the thing about it is we had a segment originally planned for the Raw 30th anniversary special that was going to involve the majority of the Anoa'i family, which was a Roman Reigns bloodline acknowledgement ceremony, which now those plans have scrapped. Why have those plans scrapped? Well, they replaced it with a trial of Sami Zayn. So what is that going to be? I'll talk about that later on in the review. But, we also need to take into consideration that The Rock also has a very, very, very rigorous schedule. Of course, he's a Hollywood megastar, so he has a Hollywood schedule to abide by. But also at the same time, he's also relaunching the XFL, which he bought from Vince McMahon a couple of years ago. And that XFL will start next month, I believe. So he has a lot of things on his plate. Honestly, maybe when it comes to The Rock, maybe his hands are full at this point. But it's weird that they're stating that he's not in the shape that, he wants to be in, or he's not in the right shape for WrestleMania. If you really think about it, The Rock's always in good shape. The Rock works out every day. But if this is true, then my best bet is because of the fact that The Rock's schedule is very, very, very rigorous. And you know what? If it doesn't happen, that's fine. And if it does happen, great. Do I think if The Rock versus Roman Reigns takes place, do I think it needs to involve the championship? Absolutely not. If anything, what they need to do is have the Roman Reigns wrestle both nights of WrestleMania. The thing about this is everybody is afraid that, The Rock is going to take Cody Rhodes' spot, but I do not think that's the case at all, considering the fact that now we got 2 nights of WrestleMania, and you can have Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble, and I'll talk about that later on, and challenge Roman Reigns on night 2. You do The Rock versus Roman Reigns on night 1. You don't do it on night 2 because of the fact that if you do The Rock versus Roman Reigns on night 2, what is really the point of The Rock losing to Cody Rhodes on night 1? It wouldn't make any sense at all. So it makes total sense for them to have The Rock versus Roman Reigns on night 1, establish Roman Reigns as a stronger than ever force. Like, this guy is like no joke. This guy just beat The Rock, and make it impossible for Cody Rhodes to dethrone Roman Reigns. And then the next night, the unthinkable happens, and Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship. That's what you need to do. That's what WWE needs to do at the end of the day. But it looks like, The Rock wrestling at WrestleMania is very much less likely. Do I believe that's going to be the case? Honestly, I do not think so, but hey, this may very well be true. But who knows? Do I think The Rock is going to show up and wrestle at the Royal Rumble, in the Royal Rumble match? No, I think I think that'd be a stupid thing to do, in my opinion. Do I think he may show up at the Royal Rumble? I don't know. But at this point, it's pure speculation. And this is what I like about Royal Rumble season, you know. It creates that pure speculation when it comes to the fan perspective. And I absolutely like that. But, yeah, man, it looks like The Rock is going to wrestling at WrestleMania is very less likely at this point. But, hey, man, never say never in this business. I still think that The Rock is going to be wrestling at WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. But, hey, plans change. We got tomorrow night, of course, we have the Raw 30th anniversary celebration. This is actually a show that I'm genuinely actually excited about. Not only because of the fact that, of course, Triple H is running this type of reunion show, but when it comes to these types of reunion shows, I started to grow a little bit stale when it comes to these shows, because I remember we'd be getting one like once a year. Like, you know, we had, of course, Raw 1000 10 years ago. We had the Raw 20th anniversary, Raw 25, which was, in a lot of fans' eyes, a big disappointment, because the fans that went to the Manhattan Center didn't really get their money's worth. It was really more focused on the Barclays Center portion than the Manhattan Center portion. But, yeah, man, we got those shows, but we also had, if you guys do not recall, the Raw Reunion special back in, I believe it was summer of 2019, which the only reason why they did that show is because of the fact that Raw did a really low rating the week prior. And they did the same thing 2 years later in, I believe, the first Raw of 2021 with Raw Legends Night, and that was a atrocity. It goes to show you that Vince McMahon's regime did not really care about the show at all. They were so desperate for ratings, so like Raw would hit the lowest rating it ever did, and then of course like a day later when the ratings came out, or a couple of days later after the ratings came out, WWE would literally announce this Legends Night just to pop a big huge rating 1 week and then go right back to where they were the next week. So it was a big failure. But Raw 30 is a show I'm very interested in, man. Can you believe it? 30 years of Monday Night Raw. That's crazy. Now, I've been watching wrestling since 2010. I am 20 years old. I'm about to turn 21 in a couple of months. I feel freaking old. Even though I didn't exist for 30 years, it's still crazy to me. Like, I've been watching Raw for 10 years now. That is absolutely insane. But, yeah, man, Raw is 30. I love the logo. I think the logo is great. I love how they added the Triple X. A lot of people have been making fun of the graphics, which is pretty funny to me. But we are going to be running down what we are going to be seeing tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. Usually Raw is typically, especially even under Triple H, is a show that I do not really look forward to. And I'm not saying that Raw like sucks like horribly like it did a couple of years ago, because Raw under Vince McMahon was like atrocious. But if you think about it, the changes that Triple H made were definitely the right decisions, but I feel like the biggest problem that Raw is facing now is those 3 hours. The 3 hours is just a drag to watch, and I know everybody says that, but it's very much true, because of the fact that it's not, the problem with Raw is that they don't really keep you invested in the show. If anything, they just put matches there to kill time, especially on that third hour. Why do you think we got that tag team turmoil match on the third hour? It's because of the fact that they need to kill fucking time. That's why. But here's the card for tomorrow night's Raw is 30 celebration. So WWE has announced the following matches and events for Monday's Raw television show. We got Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. We have Jimmy and Jey Uso versus Dominic Mysterio and Damian Priest for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I could have sworn it was Finn Balor versus Damian Priest, but nonetheless, they are facing Judgment Day for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, that is a very interesting match, considering the fact that, of course, Judgment Day won the Tag Team Turmoil match, but also the fact that on the SmackDown side of things, there is a number one contenders tournament. Whoever wins that tournament on the SmackDown side will gain a shot at the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So it looks like they're splitting up the tag team titles, which, you know, on one hand, I don't like, because the Usos are doing so well with them. But at the same time, I totally understand that point of view, considering the fact that Triple H's regime, I believe, wants to keep the brand split intact. And also, the Usos dropping the Raw Tag Team Championships realistically wouldn't be a bad thing, considering the fact that the most important titles that the Usos have are not the Raw Tag Team titles. They are the SmackDown Tag Team titles, because they won those SmackDown Tag Team titles back in 2021 I believe it was the first match at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. I believe it was on the kickoff. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they won those titles from Dominic and Rey Mysterio. That seems like a long-ass time ago, but it's very much true. So it makes total sense for the Usos to drop those titles to the Judgment Day. That's just my opinion, but I believe that the Usos will drop the SmackDown Tag Team titles to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn when both of them reunite at WrestleMania. That's my belief. We have Becky Lynch versus Bayley in a steel cage match. I haven't really been enjoying this type of feud, even though I like the fact that the man Becky Lynch is back. She's been doing the same things over and over and over again every week, coming down to the crowd and stuff. At this point, it's starting to get stale to me. But we also have Bayley, which I hate to say it, but Damage Control has not been doing well, in my opinion. I just haven't been invested in Damage Control at all. I like Dakota Kai and Io Shirai, but, I mean, what really good is Damage Control doing? I'm not really that into Damage Control, to be quite honest with you. When they first formed, I was, like, totally cool with it. But as the months went by, I'm just like, am I really that invested in it? We have the Bloodlines Acknowledgement Ceremony, in which we all know that segment is no longer going to be taking place. That segment is now going to be replaced by a Sami Zayn trial segment, which I'll talk about that later on. We also have the list of legends that were advertised for the show. We have Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Ric Flair, Kurt Angle, Teddy Long, Jerry the King Lawler, The Godfather, X-Pac, Sean Waltman, Ron Simmons, Road Dogg, Alundra Blaze, a.k.a. Medusa, Ted DiBiase, IRS, Diamond Dallas Page, and Jimmy Hart. I believe they also updated the list of legends. They added Nikki Bella and Brie Bella as well, but I don't think they added Nikki Bella and Brie Bella. They were previously advertised, but they were not included in the latest graphic. That's what it says right here. But we do not know more people that are going to be showing up at Raw 30. It's going to be a one-time thing. And you know what? I'm definitely interested to see what they're going to be doing on this show. Raw 30 is looking absolutely stacked, in my opinion. I'm genuinely, actually, surprisingly, very excited to see what they're going to be doing for the 30th anniversary of the show. I'm very excited about what they're going to be doing with that Sami Zayn segment. But yeah, man, so as I've stated earlier, we're going to be talking about the segment that was changed. So originally, the segment for Raw 30 was supposed to be the acknowledgement ceremony, in which they added they would add all the members, or most of the members, at least, of the Anoa'i family. So they added the Wild Samoans, Rikishi, all those guys. And they were all going to be acknowledging Roman Reigns. But it looks like that is no longer going to be the case. So according to PW Insider, that segment has been changed and scrapped, and now we are going to be getting the Tribal Court, the trial of Sami Zayn. What do I think of this? Now, WWE did put out a graphic on their social media platforms, and I absolutely love the graphic that they put out. Now, it's basically a simple Raw graphic that they put up, like they usually do whenever they hype up any matches that are going to be on the show. But that graphic seemed very interesting. So basically, they had the entirety of the bloodline, besides Sami Zayn, on the top. Sami Zayn is in the middle. And then, of course, they had the Raw logo, USA Network, all that shit. It was a very, very funny graphic, in my opinion. And what are we going to be seeing in that segment? Now, there's a lot of speculation. A lot of people are saying that Roman Reigns and Sami Zayn are going to basically be... they're going to split Sami Zayn from the bloodline finally. I do not think that's the case. I believe, they're probably going to give Sami Zayn one more chance, because God knows how many fucking times Sami Zayn has screwed up in storyline. But I think things are going to escalate at the Royal Rumble. A lot of people say that something's going to happen at the Raw 30 show, but I genuinely do not think that's going to be the case. I think something is going to be happening at the Royal Rumble, which would lead to something happening either on Raw or SmackDown. Again, I constantly say this, and I repeat myself because I want people to understand what I am talking about. The reason why this storyline works so well is, number one, they turn chicken shit into chicken salad. Number two, They keep you invested every freaking week because you do not know what the fuck is going to be happening to Sami Zayn. And number 3, it gets you nervous with Sami Zayn just being next to the entirety of the bloodline. It's just that damn good. This build has been absolutely tremendous. Now, a lot of people are saying that Sami Zayn could possibly win the Royal Rumble and then, possibly, maybe beat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Even if I would love that idea, at the end of the day, from where they're going at with Kevin Owens, I do not believe that will be the case. I genuinely think that this whole thing is built for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to reunite. That's the most logical thing to do because that's what they have been doing for the past few months on the SmackDown side and even on Raw. But really more of the important stuff has been happening on SmackDown instead of Raw. That is just me. But overall, I'm very, very, very excited for that segment. It's going to be probably one of the best segments all year. Do I think is it going to be a Festival of Friendship scenario type segment? I don't know, but you never know. I mean, the Festival of Friendship is one of my favorite things ever on Raw. It was just executed so well. But, of course, the payoff at WrestleMania was, in a way, if you think about it, a failure. Because if you think about it, the Festival of Friendship, that was supposed to lead to a main event match between both Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. But instead, they replaced that shit. Or they didn't replace it, but that was like on the second match of the card for the U.S. title, I believe. And also, you had Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar instead as your main event. Or one of the main events for WrestleMania. But that's another story in and of itself. But yeah, that was Raw 30. I'm definitely excited for the show. It's going to be very awesome. And for the first time in a while, I'm actually very excited to see what they're going to be doing for Raw because usually Raw is my least favorite show that I'm actually hyped up about every week. Dynamite is still my favorite wrestling show of the week. And you can call me a show whatever you want. I think Dynamite's fucking awesome. But yeah, after that, now we are going to be talking about the Royal Rumble. Yes, we got the Royal Rumble coming up. The Royal Rumble is a show, again, another show that I'm very excited about. Of course, the Royal Rumble is the show that kicks off the road to the biggest show of the year, the Super Bowl of the professional wrestling business, WrestleMania 39 at SoFi Stadium in Hollywood, California. So we got the Royal Rumble card so far. Now, I'm not going to be giving my predictions now. Those predictions are going to be saved for episode 5 of the podcast. That's where I will be giving you guys my Royal Rumble predictions. So be on the lookout for episode 5 of the podcast. Again, I will be giving you guys my predictions for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. But let's run down quickly and give you guys a little preview of the Royal Rumble card. We're also on this show going to be talking about who should win the Royal Rumble. Who should win the Royal Rumble? It makes I am going to go full-fledged on who should win the Royal Rumble. And by the looks of it, if you guys have gone to this portion of the podcast already, you already know who I think should win the Royal Rumble. All right. So we've, of course, got both Royal Rumble matches. We got the Women's Royal Rumble match. Here are the announced participants so far in the match. So in the match so far, we got Liv Morgan, Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Selena Vega, and Emma. My best bet to win this match is definitely Rhea Ripley, but that is just me. On the men's Royal Rumble side, we got Kofi Kingston, Santos Escobar, Ricochet, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Rey Mysterio, Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Omos, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Karrion Kross. We got also a lot of surprises happening at the Royal Rumble, of course. Don't shy. WWE never, and I mean this, they never shy away when it comes to their surprise entrance. They love hyping up those surprise entrants, man. I like the speculation, but at the same time, my biggest problem with the wrestling community, especially on social media, is that fans tend to overhype a lot of shit and would say the most outrageous things, thinking like, "Oh my God, CM Punk is going to show up in the Royal Rumble." No, he's not. No, he's not. Shut up. Sometimes fans are just out of their heads. Okay, I'm not even going to say the word, but they're just completely out of their heads. Continuing on with the card, we got the Universal Championship match with Roman Reigns defending the belt, or the two belts, I should say, against Kevin Owens. We have the Raw Women's Championship match with Bianca Belair defending her title against Alexa Bliss. And we have the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. Yeah. Interesting stuff. The Pitch Black match is very interesting because of the fact that we do not know the rules of the match. Now, commentary in the weeks leading up to the Royal Rumble, the only thing that Michael Cole has stated is you only win this match via pinfall or submission. Now, my best guess to what this match is going to be is we're basically going to be getting a CYN dark match. Yeah, a control your narrative dark match. If you guys do not know, that failure of a promotion, CYN, which was hilarious, by the way. They're stupid, the people that run that shit. They had this match called the dark match. They did a legitimate dark match. Now, usually in wrestling, a dark match is basically a non-televised match that would happen at a live event. No, not a house show, but like a legit television, event. But this case, CYN, what they would do is basically have all the lights dim and just literally have the wrestlers wrestle in pitch black darkness. That's what they would do. Do I think that's going to be the case? I do not know, but we still do not know what that match is going to be. Keep in mind, this is actually Bray Wyatt's first match back since returning to WWE in April, so it's going to be very interesting to see what he is going to be doing. All right. Now we're going to be asking the question, who should win the Royal Rumble? This is a simple and basic answer. But there's only 3 people that fans are talking about. Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and The Rock. Now, I'm telling you right now, The Rock is not going to win the Royal Rumble. It'd be very stupid if they did The Rock winning the Royal Rumble. Because of the fact that you have a part-time guy that is not full-time winning the Royal Rumble and getting a title shot in which he will most likely lose to Roman Reigns. It would make absolutely no sense. For all the fans clamoring about The Rock possibly wrestling at the Royal Rumble in the Royal Rumble match, hold your breath, please. It's not going to happen. It'd be a dumb decision for WWE to do, especially under Triple H. Triple H wouldn't do that shit at all. He is going to treat the Royal Rumble with absolute respect. Period. Look at what he did with Survivor Series. He turned Survivor Series, which was basically a dead gimmick with the whole Raw versus SmackDown shit, and basically added War Games on it. And Survivor Series did so much better. And I think Royal Rumble is going to be very interesting with Triple H. But The Rock, completely out of the picture. Sami Zayn, it could be a possibility. It could be very interesting when it comes to the story, but it's not going to happen. I say this because of the fact that, again, the main goal is for Sami Zayn to reunite with Kevin Owens so they can dethrone the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The only person that should win the Royal Rumble is the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, period. Nobody else, not Seth Rollins, not nobody else. Nobody else should win the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes should be and needs to be the only guy that wins this fucking match. Because there is no reason, there's no way you brought this man back to WWE. You're paying him, $3 to $4 million a year. And in his first promo back, he basically told the audience saying, yeah, I'm going after the WWE Championship. If he does not win the Royal Rumble, what the hell are you going to be doing with Cody? Not only that, everything that Cody Rhodes said in all of those promos before he got injured are rendered absolutely useless. So, Cody Rhodes should be the only man to win this match and face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania and dethrone Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Because here's another thing that all the fans need to understand. Before Cody Rhodes came in to the came back to the WWE. Before Cody Rhodes returned to the WWE had nobody on the same level of Roman Reigns. You can say Drew McIntyre. They had their shot, they blew it, but at the same time, you can't really blame WWE considering the fact that apparently Drew McIntyre was injured. So that's a pass. But at the same time, if you think about it, who besides Roman Reigns was on his exact level? Nobody. WWE, the failure, you can say that the Bloodline storyline has been a success, and it was. But the biggest problem with this Roman Reigns title reign was the fact that they did not build up anybody. They did not build up anybody. They didn't build up their Sting to their Hollywood Hogan. They didn't do that. WWE did not do that. They had the opportunity to do that, but they didn't do it. Triple H, ever since he took over, was basically, as I've stated many, many, many times, was trying to turn chicken shit into chicken salad. That's all Triple H was doing, and you know what? I commend him for that. So, Cody Rhodes is the only man that needs to dethrone Roman Reigns, period. That is it. Nobody else. So yeah, that is the Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble will take place next Saturday, January 28th, 2023. Of course, guys, remember, episode 5 will not be up next Sunday. It will actually be up on Friday, considering the fact that, of course, we got the Royal Rumble on Saturday, and usually on Saturdays I upload the SmackDown review. So the Royal Rumble review will instead replace episode 5 of the podcast, which will air on Sunday. So yeah, episode 5 on Friday, and the Royal Rumble review will be on Sunday night. So yeah, those were the Royal Rumble. I'm absolutely very excited for the Royal Rumble. It's going to be a great night of wrestling overall. So yeah, before we continue on with our final topic, I should say, make sure to like and subscribe to the WrestleHavoc podcast right here on YouTube, in which we discuss everything in and outside of the squared circle. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and as the frickin' referee would say, ring, ring, ring that damn bell for more notifications. Also, the WrestleHavoc podcast is also available on audio platforms. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and Google Podcasts. So if you guys want to listen to the WrestleHavoc podcast in audio format, it is available on all of those platforms. Also, I got videos up as well. I have the Dynamite review already up on the channel, plus the SmackDown review up on the channel. It's a relatively short review. It's, I believe, around 35 minutes long. But I definitely recommend you guys to check it out. So the SmackDown review, the link will be in the description below. So yeah, we are going now in our final topic of the evening. We are going to be talking about CM Punk, the best in the world, the Second City Saint, the voice of the voiceless, a.k.a. Phil Brooks. You guys all know the story with CM Punk and what happened at AEW All Out. Wait, I'm sorry. Wait, let me drink my water. AEW Brawl Out, by the way. At Brawl Out, which was a fantastic show that was completely overshadowed by stupidity at the media scrum, we got an update on CM Punk. So I'm reading this from eWrestlingNews.com. Now, the original source came from Dave Meltzer and the Wrestling Observer. So AEW president Tony Khan is reportedly cold on any plans using CM Punk. It has been reported that AEW and Punk were negotiating a buyout of the remainder of Punk's contract stemming from the AEW All Out 2022 Brawl. This is something that Punk wanted. Dave Meltzer reported that in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there hadn't been any talks regarding a release as of late between the two sides. He wrote, and I quote, "Right now, from the Punk side, the belief is that Tony Khan has put Punk on ice for now, and as there are no ideas to use him that have been presented, but no talk at all as of late to release him either." And end quote. So, yeah, that was the quote that Dave Meltzer stated. He basically stated that the Punk side believes that Punk is on ice, and currently Tony Khan has no plans, but maybe in the future he could have plans on bringing Punk back. What are my thoughts on this whole situation when it regards to CM Punk? Now, I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Back in September, look, we all blamed CM Punk. I have this belief that everybody, the Elite, CM Punk, Tony Khan himself, were all to blame for the entire situation. They were all to blame. I'm not pointing sides at nobody. Now, were we all talking shit about CM Punk when this happened? Yes. But at the same time, we really also need to point the blame at the Elite and Tony Khan. Tony Khan, because of the fact that he didn't immediately fix the situation when he had the chance to. The Elite for just causing bullshit, apparently, which I don't believe them leaking false information to the media. I do not believe that, by the way. I don't. And Punk for spewing out all this bullshit drama in front of the media in a public manner. If anything, they should have hashed things out behind the scenes, but AEW basically just became a freaking war zone at that point. Do I think that they recovered from the situation? Yes, they moved on very well from the situation. They're not in the, I don't want to say shitty state that they were, but they definitely recovered, and they're doing much, much better than before. Keep in mind, right after All Out, the next couple of months, October, November, those 2 months in particular, their attendance was pure garbage. You can deny all you want, but AEW's attendance had been absolutely terrible after that whole thing. And look, AEW has been recently touring in the West Coast, and they're doing so much better than they have before, and I think their attendance will go back up even without CM Punk. But this is the whole thing. Look, throughout these months that Punk was out, I genuinely believe, and I've noticed something, that there are two sides when it comes to the AEW locker room. There's one side that absolutely just do not like CM Punk and are in cahoots with the Elite. The other side are the people that actually thought CM Punk was a benefit to the AEW locker room. So you really need to ask yourselves, was Punk really a locker room cancer? I genuinely believe he wasn't a locker room cancer. Because if you think about it, you had people like MJF put him over. You had people like Ricky Starks put him over. You had Dax Harwood on his podcast, by the way. Dax Harwood alone on his podcast, on the first episode, talking about CM Punk, saying nobody had a problem with CM Punk. If anything, he gave Starbucks gift cards to literally everybody in the locker room. Punk was that generous. You know, you had people like Ricky Starks as well. Like, it's starting to look like CM Punk wasn't really that big of a quote-unquote cancer to the locker room. This is my thoughts on it. Look, my best bet now, we all know Punk is currently injured. And I may be far-fetching here, but fuck, man. Make money off of this whole fucking situation. Make money. I don't care if they're not in cahoots with each other. Tony Khan is the fucking boss. Make the shit happen. Because it is the biggest opportunity that you have right now. If AEW manages to pull off the Elite versus CM Punk and FTR in a future pay-per-view, whenever Punk is recuperating and he's fully recuperated from his injury, I guarantee you that will not only be AEW's biggest pay-per-view buy rate, because keep in mind, their biggest pay-per-view buy rate was roughly over 200,000 buys, and that was All Out 2021, 2 years ago, in which they had the in-ring return of CM Punk and the, of course, debuts of both Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. That did their highest pay-per-view buy rate. If they have CMFTR, as they're being called, versus the Elite in a main event of a major pay-per-view later on this year, and they turn this whole thing into a storyline, this will literally beat All Out 2021's pay-per-view buy rate. Not only that, it will be the most talked about thing in all of pro wrestling. Forget about WWE, forget about all that shit. AEW right now has a golden opportunity to make shit work. Period. They have the best opportunity that they possibly can. Fuck the egos and all that. I never understood ego in professional wrestling. It is the dumbest shit ever. This whole situation that happened with CM Punk, the Elite, all rendered all over Colt Cabana. Say what you want about Colt Cabana. He may be a great dude, but is he really an important part of AEW right now? No. So why was this whole situation put into fruition? I do not get it. Now AEW has a shot to turn this whole thing into a storyline, reconcile, and have everybody work together. I urge them, please. Because if they manage to do that, I think the atmosphere in the locker room will be much better, and it goes to show you that AEW has grown as a company. That's my opinion. It literally would be best for business for everybody. For everybody. I stated this constantly. Turn chicken shit into chicken salad. As Brock Lesnar stated on The Ultimate Fighter. Turn chicken shit into chicken salad. Make this shit work. Period. Make this shit work. Have this be the main event of a pay-per-view. Turn this into a storyline. Not only that, the build-up, if they ever did that match, the build-up would be absolutely amazing. Imagine the promos that we got with CM Punk and Kenny Omega. The back and forth would be absolutely amazing. Bring back CM Punk. Literally, at first I was like, you know what? Punk is not going to be back. I don't think, there's no turning back from that. But look, at the end of the day, time heals all wounds. Time passes, and you know what? Maybe CM Punk is thinking, maybe, yeah, I fucked up because let's be honest, Punk fucked up bad. Look, let's be honest, Punk should have never went off on the media scrum the way he did. That was very unprofessional on Punk's part. But at the same time, you know what? Bring his ass back, and even before, like, have them apologize to each other, because this is a stupid situation. Turn this into a fucking storyline. It is a golden fucking opportunity that AEW can do, and I'd be shocked if they didn't do this. And look, fans all over social media are wanting AEW to do this, and there's a reason why, because fans fully support AEW through thick and thin, and this could be the best opportunity that AEW has to really have the wrestling world buzzing. That's my opinion on the whole situation. I think CM Punk should come back, regardless of what I said a couple of months ago. Look, Punk, I'm really starting to think that Punk, I really want Punk to come back at this point, because where the fuck is Punk going to go? Is he going to go back to WWE? Even if he ever went to WWE, which I doubt he ever will, he's not going to go back to the WWE. It's stupid. But if he did, what would Punk get out of it? What would Punk do? He wouldn't do anything. I think Punk is better off. Just come back, work with the Elite, work together at the end of the day. I don't give a shit what anybody else says on this community. Make shit work. Work together and make money doing it. That's all I got to say on this. I hope CM Punk comes back, and I hope we get a feud with the Elite. Honestly, I really, 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 really do. But that is just my personal opinion. Is it going to happen? We do not fucking know. We do not know, but that's just what I believe. But yeah, that is all I got for episode 4 of the WrestleHavoc podcast. We talked a lot. I don't want to say a relatively long show that we had, but right now we're going to 41 minutes, so that was enough time for a full episode of the podcast. Not really a lot to talk about, but yeah, man, we talked quite a lot about a lot of stuff. But of course, tomorrow we got Raw 30. I will give you guys my Raw 30 review on Tuesday. Of course, the Dynamite review will be up on Thursday, and the SmackDown review will be up on Saturday. Of course, Saturday as well will be the Royal Rumble pay-per-view event. On Friday, remember, episode 5 will be up on the channel earlier, not on Sunday. It will be up on Friday, this coming Friday, and this coming Sunday, or I should say next Sunday, you guys will be getting the full Royal Rumble review. So yeah, man, that is all I got right here on episode 4 of the WrestleHavoc podcast. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications, and be on the lookout for more videos right here on the WrestleHavoc podcast. Of course, follow me on social media. The links will be in the description below at FlaminRick0305 on both Instagram and Twitter. Also, watch my SmackDown review. The link will be in the description below as well. But as always, it is Flamin' Rick from the WrestleHavoc podcast, signing out.